today I'm going to tell you the 4 things you need to become a reptile expert. But first, trees are going up like crazy. Trees all over the TV. I'm not even sure where this tree came from. 3rd tree. There's even a tree in my bathroom. Yep. One in the bedroom too. Don't think for 1 second there's not going to be a tree in front of this window. And I just got a text from Lori saying later on we're going to get a big live tree. Ho ho ho. But this vlog isn't about being a Christmas expert. It's about being a reptile expert.
That sounds like a stupid vlog to me.
First thing you need is you have to have the right environment for your reptile. So there's a lot of resources out there to build an enclosure for whatever you happen to be. Now granted, not everyone's going to be able to build an enclosure like this for black-headed pythons. But the point is that a proper enclosure is imperative in order for you to be successful as a reptile keeper. So you need a basking light, depending on what temperature you need. You know, if it's a monitor, it needs to be higher. If it's a colubrid, lower. Maybe a colubrid doesn't even need a basking light. You need substrate heat. This actually has a pad underneath it. It's on a thermostat so that the animal can actually sit on that and actually get gradient heat. This basking light is warming the rock. They're sitting on that. They're warming themselves up. They've got a big water dish. They've got areas to climb. Some animals need hiding boxes. It just depends. Do your research and make sure that you know before you get your animal. Make sure you know what to keep them in and how to keep them. You can never become a reptile expert if you don't have a setup that is proper first.
Mr. Brad, that's so complicated. All I need, TV, couch, and a freezer full of ice cream.
Next big thing would be mini attempts with feedback. Let's say that you're trying to train an animal like Frosty here, the beautiful white water monitor. You're actually going to be doing it over and over and over again. Same goes when it comes to cleaning and feeding. You know, the more you do something, the better you get at it. But you want feedback. Let's say I'm trying to train Frosty to do something like go after a ball of a certain color. So if I do it a certain way and it doesn't work out, or I'm doing it the wrong way, I want someone that knows what they're doing to give me feedback to make sure that I'm having the best success. So basically what I'm saying is make sure that you kind of get a mentor. Get someone that knows what they're doing. So when you're making the attempt, whether it's handling an animal, whether it's training an animal, or whether it's just cleaning and feeding to make sure your animal is healthy as it possibly can, you want someone to give you feedback so that you know what you're doing right and what you know that you're doing wrong so that you can fix it. Because if you do things wrong all the time, you're never going to get better at it. So that feedback is absolutely paramount.
Mike, I gotta talk to you real quick.
What's up?
Can you just come in this other room real quick?
Okay. What do you need me for, Noah? What do you want to talk about? What do you have? Okay.
Have you heard all this talk about my dad being a reptile expert?
You know, I've been hearing some stuff throughout the day. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, I just think it's a bunch of baloney. We're the real experts here.
It's not even just reptiles. Like, I know you're an expert at the one you were telling me about earlier.
Polish kibasas.
See, now you're speaking my language.
And you're an expert at ice cream.
Ice cream. I was going to say the same thing.
Careful. My neck stand.
What? Is that new?
Yeah, my back's just been sore.
Oh, okay.
Back in the anaconda's enclosure because, as always, they got some poop in there. So let's go get it. The thing that sucks about anacondas is that they typically poop in the water. So you have to actually go in the water and get the poop out. If you're not careful, the poop kind of breaks apart and then it makes a big mess. And take a look at this. Look at how the poop is almost all fur. The thing that's really interesting about anacondas is that when they actually digest the food, they put almost all of the nutrient into growth and very little bit goes into waste. More than any other reptile I've ever worked with. And I've cleaned hundreds of thousands of enclosures, so I kind of know what I'm doing. But in the very beginning when I was cleaning stuff, I needed feedback, right? So I always worked with other people that really knew a lot about reptiles so that I knew what I was actually talking about. And now I can clean snake poop, and I'm an expert. Thanks to Upside for sponsoring this video. Upside is a really cool app. It really helps you in an area now when you're kind of cutting back on things because of inflation. With Upside, you don't have to cut back because they're an app that you can use to get cash back. Unlike credit card rewards, you can actually get 3 times more cash back. And you know, I travel a tremendous amount and the gas prices are super high. So now it's really cool. Literally use the Upside app, check in at the gas station, pay as usual with your credit card, debit card, whatever, and get cash back from Upside. And you can cash out anytime. You can do it with your bank account, PayPal. You can even do it with an Amazon gift card. The point is that even in these tough times, you don't have to cut back as hard when you're getting more cash back with an app like Upside. Upside users are literally getting millions of dollars back each week. That's probably why they have a 4.8 rating on the App Store. And like I mentioned, the Upside app is so easy to use. Now you can go download the free Upside app, use my promo code Barcheck, and get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. The point is, practice doesn't always make perfect, but perfect Perfect practice makes perfect. If you're doing the wrong thing over and over again, but you're not doing it good, you're not gonna get better. But if you do it right and you do it perfect and you do it over and over again, that's how you start to become an expert. But before we move on,
Why do we have to be reptile experts anyways?
well, becoming a reptile expert or an expert at anything helps you identify a problem when it's a minor problem before it becomes a major problem.
Like when Choco Tacos got discontinued, that's a major problem. Wish I would have seen that one coming.
The tortoises are definitely munching away right now, and that's a perfect example because becoming an expert helps you understand when that problem is coming. Tortoises are a good example. A lot of times they don't show any sickness or illness until it's too late. So as an expert, you know that you need to weigh them often so that you know that they're actually gaining weight or maintaining weight. If they're losing weight or not growing, if they're in a young age, you know that there's a problem. If you weren't an expert knowing that, you would look at a tortoise and think it's completely healthy. By the time you actually see the symptoms, it's oftentimes too late. Take a look at my green tree python. Usually he's hanging down here looking all pretty, but today he's cramped all the way up at the top of the cage, and that kind of is the way things are, right? It's just thermoregulating, getting into a spot that it really likes. And I think that becoming a reptile expert or being an expert in anything, it's really important because then you can help other people become experts in whatever it is too. For me, it's all about letting people understand and learn about reptiles so that they can take care of them better, just like I do with my crew. All right, guys, do me a favor. I'm going to put a link in the description to Mike's Instagram. He needs to get to 5,000 followers in the next 90 days in order to win a competition against him and Alyssa. Nothing against Alyssa, but, you know, Mike, you know.
Let's go to a million.
He's greedy.
I'm more of an expert of like sweeping and mopping floors myself, so my back does kind of hurt a lot.
Yeah, you should try this neck standout.
Can you make me one time?
It's really good. Look at the side profile. You barely notice it. You just use this remote, and that activates.
Oh, is it like massaging too?
No, it just kind of. And then you're an expert at
Cleaning tanks.
cleaning tanks.
I'm doing it right now. You know what I'm trying to become an expert at?
What more could you possibly do?
Yeah, I know there's a list, but like the next on the list is like pre-workout. Like I'm gonna try all of them and I'm gonna figure out which ones work the best.
So you want to be an expert at that?
Yeah, who doesn't want to be an expert at that?
You know what
Brands
I'm an
already.
expert at?
And like I mentioned before, I have cleaned hundreds of thousands of reptiles. There's no doubt about it. And they say that if you do something for 10,000 hours, it makes you an expert. But that's not always the case. You can only really become an expert when you actually are in a position where you recognize things that are out of the ordinary. So when you see something that normal people won't see so that you can fix it before it becomes a major problem, that's what really makes people an expert. How cool is that? I absolutely love Ivy. And let's go back to that 10,000 hour thing. I've been working on average of 70 hours a week the last 34 years. Now, if you work 70 hours a week on average, some weeks I'm working way more, some weeks I'm working a little bit less, but let's say 70 is the minimum. That's actually 3,640 hours per year that I put in. I've been working for 34 years doing that. That means that's 123,760 hours that I have been doing reptiles. Yeah, maybe that makes me an expert.
And I'm an expert at Uno, Bingo,
All the experts in all the game.
Can you idiot experts get out of my room?
Okay.
Static command.
Yeah, I think
Expert's kind of a weird word. A lot of people get called expert when maybe necessarily they aren't. In general, I would consider an expert someone who has worked with a specific animal or species for a long period of time. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there on the internet that have just like read or kept something as a pet for a little bit of time. I wouldn't necessarily consider that an expert. You have to spend hundreds to thousands of hours with something to be an expert.
But I'm not just an expert because of those hours. I'm an expert because I recognize things that are a problem way before other people would recognize them. And hence, I'm avoiding most of the health issues that most people would have if they weren't an expert and didn't recognize it early on. Number 3, timely feedback. What you want to do is get someone to give you feedback like I've been mentioning, but you want it to be timely because the quicker that you actually can get that feedback and learn that you maybe are doing something wrong, the quicker you can do to actually fix it and not do it wrong in the future. That helps you become an expert. Take, for instance, the scaleless Texas rat snake. The one thing that does happen sometimes with scaleless rat snakes is their mouth can sometimes get a little bit of bedding impact in it and it can actually become infected a little bit. So this animal in the very beginning stages had just a little bit of a puffy mouth. We were able to recognize that puffy mouth and immediately started to treat it with just peroxide and keeping a close eye on it. And within a very short period of time, its mouth went back to normal. Because we were able to identify it early on, I was able to give timely feedback to my caregiver and she was able to actually get it back to health where it could have potentially become a serious health problem. Number 4 is those thousands of hours of actual work and repeat feeding and doing stuff. Now listen, doing thousands of hours something doesn't necessarily make you an expert because you need that timely feedback in order to do it right to become an expert. But it's very hard to become an expert at anything without putting thousands of hours into actually becoming an expert. So if you have thousands of hours into it, you're getting timely feedback, you have the proper setup, and you can start to identify an issue before it becomes an actual problem. That's when you're gonna actually become an expert.
All right, enough with being a reptile expert. Let's get back to being a Christmas expert.
Well, it's that time of the year again, the Barcheck Christmas tree. How many trees this year, Lori?
I don't know.
37.
37, probably about right this year. We always get one big tree, one big live tree. You guys excited?
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm hungry.
Let's go find a tree.
We were supposed to get food first, but we're walking to the trees.
It's pretty small.
This guy's big,
This
but
is the size, but look at it. That's the Charlie Brown's looking tree.
yeah, because we want tall and full.
Okay, that's better. That's probably 11 foot.
That's not that bad. It's not as big as last year, but it's not bad.
Oh, here we go.
I see one in the far back over here.
Oh yeah, it's like above the wires. I was deceived.
Look at this. It looked big from back there. Is this the one I saw?
I think we get the one that we just said. Those are what they call them. I think they're like blue Pruses or something.
Sad.
that one?
Is it gonna fill out?
It looks bad. Like all this is all crumpled in and it's gonna happen, Mom.
It happens every year.
Is this thing gonna drop right?
Hold it up again.
Will it drop?
Yes. What does that side look like?
Good.
Looks
Actually,
good.
it's very full.
That side looks good. Need help with an aisle tree.
That was good, right?
It's a hobo fire right here.
There you go. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks. Let's get some food.
Bavarian pretzel bites. I want my house to smell like this all the time.
You weren't home yesterday. I think that thing's seen better days.
That's scary. It was not nearly as easy as I thought it was going to be. I'm going to go through.
Quite a bit small.
How straight does it look?
My hands are off of it.
The moment of truth. Whoa.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Starting to calm now. Oh yeah, starting to look like a tree now.
that one just dropped down.
I think it fell off.
Yeah.
Good.
Is that the last one?
It's the last one. As you can see, we've got one. Now we have our family live tree. We have another tree over there, and we have about 5 other trees so far. So counting up to about 7. I think we're gonna end at how many? 11, 12?
Never know.
So there it is, Barcheck Christmas tree in the house. That's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, there's a playlist that you can watch all kinds of videos. You can also hit that subscription button. It would mean a lot to me. Also, hit that like button while you're down there. Have a wonderful day, Reptile Army. Remember, be kind to someone, and I promise I'll see you in the next one.